Scotus's view was totally in accord with Gerard Hopkins' instinctive way of seeing God's creation. His poetry is always a celebration of the way in which haikietas bears witness to the divine origin of all things.
Glory be to God for dappled things, for skies of couple colour as a brinded cow, for rose moles all in stipple upon trout that swim, fresh fire-coal chestnut falls, finches' wings. Landscape plotted and pieced, fold, fallow and plough, and all trades their gear and tackle and trim. All things counter, original, spare, strange. Whatever is fickle, freckled, who knows how? With swift, slow, sweet, sour, a dazzle dim. He farthest forth whose beauty is past change. Praise him.
There was then no deep gulf between Hopkins the poet and Hopkins the priest. The real gulf in his life was between his single-minded, totally dedicated self and the society within which he lived and moved. His paradox was that although he was in many ways deeply English and deeply loved England, he felt unable to accept so much of what England offered him. He rejected the ugliness and materialism of Victorian commerce and industry, of mass-produced goods that had no individuality, no haikietas. And he saw industrial and commercial society as cramping and stunting to the people who worked in it and lived by its values. They too were robbed of selfhood. Small wonder that in a populous country, Hopkins felt deeply alone. All the better that we can point to one place where Hopkins was quite obviously happy in an ordinary human way.
St. Bino's College, St. Asaph, North Wales, August 29th, 1874. My dearest father, I came here yesterday to begin my studies. The house stands on a steep hillside. It commands the long-drawn valley of the Clwyd to the sea. A vast prospect. The air seems to me very fresh and wholesome.
He came here at the age of 30 for 3 years theological study. Being a natural student and speculative thinker, he enjoyed the work. Being among people who shared his religious standpoint, he felt at ease, and the Welsh countryside completely won his heart.
The nearer hills, the other side of the valley, showed a hard and beautifully detached and glimmering brim against the light, which was lifting there. All the length of the valley, the skyline of hills was flowingly written all along upon the sky. A blue bloom, a sort of meal, seemed to have spread upon the distant south. Looking all around, I felt an in-stress and charm of Wales.
It was at St. Bino's that he began writing poetry again after the years of silence. No longer now the charming but shallow decorative poetry he had written as a youth, but a poetry of depth and spiritual fire, beginning with the sombre and terrible Wreck of the Deutschland, a poem that is difficult in the same way that the emergence of a butterfly from a pupa is difficult.
I am soft sift in an hourglass, at the wall fast, but mind with a motion adrift, and it crowds and it combs to the fall. I steady as a water in a well, to a poise, to a pain, but roped with always all the way down from the tall fells or flanks of the Voil, a vein of the gospel proffer, a pressure, a principle, Christ's gift.
On walks here to Fun-on-Vire at St Mary's Well, a mile or so from St Bino's, and in his study back at the college, he began to compose poems that expressed all the intensity of his vision. He saw a new path that English poetry might take. He would tread that path. He had no interest in merely duplicating effects already successfully brought off by other poets. He went for total originality. Every poem, every line, every phrase, every metaphor, every cadence of rhythm and melody in every poem had to be something that only he could have produced.
How to keep? Is there any? Is there none such nowhere known, some bow or brooch or braid or brace, lace, latch or catch or key to keep back beauty? Keep it. Beauty, 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 from vanishing away. There is one, yes, I have one, hush there, only not within seeing of the sun. Yes, I can tell such a key, I do know such a place, where whatever's prized and passes of us, everything that's fresh and fast flying of us, never fleets more, fastened with the tenderest truth to its own best being and its loveliness of youth. Come then, beauty in the ghost, deliver it early now, long before death. Give beauty back, beauty, beauty. To God, beauty's self and beauty's giver.
St Winifred's Well at Holywell, a few miles down the road from St Bino's. St Winifred, or Gwenvrewi, was the niece of St Bino, and the strange, miraculous story of her martyrdom attracted Hopkins deeply. He several times made it a theme in his imaginative work.
Indeed, in coming here I began to feel a desire to do something for the conversion of Wales. I began to learn Welsh too, but not with very pure intentions perhaps. However, on consulting the rector, he discouraged it, unless it were purely for the sake of labouring among the Welsh.
Hopkins could easily have persuaded